It's important for individuals to manage their own stress levels for so many reasons. A really big one being is your quality of life. If your stress levels at work increase, then this can have an impact in every aspect of your life. You know, your relationships with your partner, with your children, your friends, and also your enjoyment of your job. Managing your stress levels helps to avoid burnout, which is something that may not be spoken about enough, but burnout is essentially when your brain gets to a point that it's no longer able to function properly or manage stress properly. So any little thing could send you over the edge. And it can cause long-term absence. So it's important to have preventative measures rather than reactionary to a cure or when something has already happened. It's important to manage stress from a company point of view for a few reasons. First of all, if you have stressed employees, it just becomes the norm, and that's how cultures get shaped. So your culture would then just become a stress culture, and this could have an impact on your employee turnover. So managing stress levels would help decrease your employee turnover. It's also important from a productivity standpoint. Employees that are feeling stressed are proven to be less productive. Brown's 2023 Wellbeing Report showed that 83% of lawyers had experienced burnout or felt stressed at work, which shows this is a really important subject. A very important thing for law firms to do when managing stress amongst their employees is normalise the conversation. I think that well-being has become a little bit of a buzzword, especially on social media, but it is still very, very important to make sure that it's part of the office's everyday conversations, that people feel comfortable being open. Employees should have multiple people, whether that's colleagues or managers, that they feel comfortable speaking to if they have got something going on, whether they have an issue in work or personal. For companies, it's about making sure that you've got senior people who are educated and feel confident speaking about well-being. A top-down approach really helps with the normalising of the conversation. Educate their employees. There are a lot of resources on the internet. I know that there's wellbeing plans that we've used. These are activities that employees can fill out, and they can help to identify their own stress triggers. They can list activities that they can do when they are spotting the signs of stress. These plans are great because they not only help the employee with self-awareness around their stress points and actions that they can take, but they help managers get to know their employees and know where to signpost them or to approach them if they are noticing that their employees do feel stressed. We have wellbeing initiatives in place, whether this is a full wellbeing day or a couple of hours dedicated to doing something wellbeing related. These events could be in person, which is great, but if everyone's working hybridly, then we've tried virtual events. We tried desk yoga and laughing yoga, which I personally really enjoyed. We offer a lot of flexibility here at Realm. We allow employees to clock in, clock out. If they want to nip out to meet a friend for a coffee or go to a gym class during the day, then that's fine. They have a lot more responsibility for their own hours. We also have a 4-day working week, which we call Flexi Fridays. This allows employees to get their chores done on a Friday, and then they have the full weekend to relax and recuperate. My top 3 tips for managing stress at work would be managing workloads, making sure that employees feel comfortable managing their own workloads, knowing how to review if they've got too much on, and knowing who to approach. Making sure that your managers know how to review workloads for their employees, know how to spot signs when an employee might have too much on. This is especially important in the world that we live in now, where there's so much virtual working, hybrid working. It's hard to see what someone is doing all of the time. So there's definitely an increased risk of somebody's workload getting too much, and as a manager you not being able to see that. So my second tip would be mental health first aiders. This is an external course that you can send employees on, and this can be employees at any level, it doesn't need to be managers. I would suggest choosing employees that have an already active interest in wellbeing or are very passionate about it. This just means that they'll be more proactive with the information that they do take away from the course. Why I think it adds value is that you'll have employees that you know feel comfortable speaking about wellbeing, and you have employees that feel confident approaching other people that may be struggling with wellbeing, which surprisingly can be something that a lot of businesses struggle with. My third tip would be an employee assistance programme. This is something that Realm has got in recent years, and it's honestly been great. I get so much positive feedback from the team. It's great because it has a 24/7 helpline for therapy. It offers also a CBT self-led online service, and you can pay a little bit extra to get 8 in-person sessions a year. So it's very versatile whether someone wants to do appointments over the phone, via Zoom, or go and see somebody in person. It's useful for team members to know that they've got that support if they do need somebody to speak to outside of the business, but also for managers to be able to signpost employees to somebody that has professional skills in this area. It's also got some great other aspects to it. There's a 24/7 GP line, so if you have an employee who's feeling very stressed or anxious about something and they're unable to get an appointment for a couple of weeks with their usual GP, they would be able to ring this helpline and get some advice in the meantime. Of course, this is all dependent on the size of the business and the budget, but even as a smaller business, I think it's worthwhile looking into options because it could be more affordable and suited to your budget than you might think.